He will do logistics person number 1, logistics person number 2 is the fire system. Chaps, guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Trebinje. We will host for the third time this course, international course in characterization and engineering of the karst aquifers. It is a pleasure to have all of you here. I know that you are a little bit tired. You have a long trip to come here, as we had as well. We traveled today about 12 hours driving. Started at 8 o'clock, arriving at 8 o'clock, so not easy. I'm Zoran Stevanović, who don't know me. So I'm professor in hydrogeology in Belgrade, in methods and hydrogeology.
Želim da vas pozdravim u ime Geološkog zavoda Republike Srpske i poželim srećan i uspješan rad. Drago mi je da vidim u ovolikom broju polaznika ove škole karsta. Geološki zavod Republike Srpske je jedan od osnivača zajedno sa Rudarsko-geološkim fakultetom, centrom za karst. I evo već nekoliko godina sa uspjehom se održava ova škola karsta ovdje.
Ovako, drage kolege, izgleda da je meni pripala ova čast ove godine da počnem, da kažem, sa izlaganjem, pozdravljanjem svih vas ovdje prisutnih na novoj školi karsta, tako da kažem, već tradicionalnoj, koja se održava ovdje u prostorijama hidroelektrana u Trebinjšnici, čiji sam, da kažem, jedan od predstavnika, tu je da se predstavim Željko Zubac, kolega hidrogeolog, tako kažem, i radim ovdje u ćerka kompaniji, da je nazovem hidroelektrana Trebinjšnica.
Zadnjih dana maja i početkom juna da se tu odvija vaša škola. Mislim da se nalazite na mjestu gdje imate mogućnost kvalitetnih terenskih posjeta, zato što je ovo područje oko grada Trebinje i ono što je vjerojatno obuhvaćeno vašim programom predstavlja tipičan primjer karsta.
Poštovane kolegice i kolege, još jedan put da vas pozdravim u ime Geološkog zavoda Republike Srpske i poželim uspješan i srećan rad. Iskoristio bih sad ovo jedno vrijeme da vam ispričam malo, nešto kažem o Geološkom zavodu Republike Srpske za one koji manje o tome znaju, pošto se nalazimo na prostoru Bosne i Hercegovine, odnosno Republike Srpske.
It's just a few words about the University of Belgrade as a main center of higher education in Serbia. The master study and doctoral study are programmed to continue for 3 years, and we have this defending of the doctoral dissertation at the end of geology. While in the Department of Hydrogeology, which was established 45 years ago, we have today graduated about 800 students.
Some stochastic models, some models which are very useful and easy for everyone to use, to learn how to use, and to simulate discharge or some components, chemistry components. And moving from ground or water bodies to the atmosphere. Now it's very hard to calculate real evaporation and to be sure that you don't make any mistake in this.
We've done 56 springs with the inventory techniques that if it doesn't rain this afternoon, I'll show you. You'll see what I want to talk about are the role that springs play in ecosystems. Also acknowledge a couple of my colleagues, and I'll show them a bit later. Dr. Larry Stevens is a curator of water flow, and it still has groundwater near the surface. Detailed inventories, not just of the flow and the chemistry and the geology, but also of all of the life that's in springs. So all the plants and all of the invertebrates and vertebrate animals that occur in springs. So the more diverse a spring's geomorphic habitat is, the more diverse the life is. So if you've got a spring that cascades down a cliff, we have a group of geologists.
Anyway, I don't know, you have Bonacci here, but okay, depends. Here, one. So, the guys there, after our...
First thing usually we do is you would put the biologist in front of the group as we walk towards it and have them record observations of birds and animals that you see as you approach the site. And frequently you get certain types of animals at a spring. So that's the first thing you would do. Then when you come in, normally the next thing we do is we want to determine what is the spring. Where does the water discharge? What is the area supported by the water discharging from the spring? And if you haven't done it yet, I'd recommend let's everybody take 5 minutes, walk around this area and see if you can identify the place or places where water emerges, what your evidence is for that. And there are also specific types of vegetation that are indicative of that. And let's look around here quickly. Some of you may know that we're being helped by our colleagues from HET. They've already thought through where you would measure discharge at this site. But think about where you would measure chemistry. How did you identify those sites? What yes. So, so obviously over here it's under pressure where it emerges, and that's not uncommon at a lot of springs. Where was that? Over here. So what is the spring? We would consider it as an ecosystem the places where the water emerges, and until the water flows away far enough that it's no longer representative of the chemistry of the groundwater. So eventually it becomes surface water. The temperature warms, the CO2 degasses, so the temperature and the chemistry changes, and it's not representative of the aquifer anymore. Things on different types and the life information. So we would, again, it's critical you have somebody who can identify them and work with them. Very well. Now flip over the list.
Vraća se.
And after you've listed them,
profil da podijelimo svakih pola metra
radi preciznosti mjerenja. Sad spusti, izmjeri dubinu, čitaj.
35.
Odlično.
Kreće mjerenje.
Krivinu kako, ova krivina kako ide potom. Znači vidite kako ovaj će biti sporije, tamo će biti brže. S tim što zimi evo ovdje izađe vod.
Zimi izađe na taj betonski prag vode.
Znači puno po dijelu. Jer ona gore trava, onako možete primijetiti kako ona dijeli vod. Jedan dio ide vamo, jedan tako. Jedan tačno negdje na sredini.
As Professor Stevanovic told, I worked many years in problems of hydrogeological and geotechnical problem of construction in karst. In karst, you know, is very specific hydrological and general geological environment, and many rules which are common and accepted in other geological formation doesn't work in karst. By Russian geologists, karstologists, and maybe this term can to show what it means, all the problems in karst. There are some brief overview. One of the oldest structure in karst. First I will just briefly present some facts about history of engineering in karst. From spring it was done 700 years before Christ. All devices which are now in very modern dams, this one circular dam in this area. The question here you can see the level of flood. Radi se o jednom velikom karstnom izvoru oko koje služi za vodosnabdevanje Trebinja. 1912. je napravljena prva kaptaža pa se stalno proširiva. Međutim, problem je bio kad je napravljena brana i došlo je kaptaža uspor vode dalje sledeći ovaj pravac. Znači ovdje se radi isto jako dubokom sifonskom kanalu. Evo ovdje se vidi najbolje gdje je to, kako je to bilo vrelo doba.
Za 10 minuta smo mi gore. Molim. Ovo je dosta 20 minuta.
Da. Evo, to je, kao što vidite, dvostruko zakrivljena betonska brana građevinske visine 123 metra. Ovdje gdje se mi nalazimo, ovo je kvota 403, tačno. Jezero je projektovano do kvote 400 da se napuni, međutim, postoji mogućnost da primi još skoro 2 metra vode više. Brana se nalazi u ovim krečnjacima litiotijskim sa proslojicima gline i čak na većim dubinama na ovom profilu su nađeni proslojci uglja. To je bilo ovako dosta problematično i analizirano jer probitni položaj brane je bio nešto 200 metra otprilike nizvodno odavde, ali su tog profila odustalo, došlo se ovde. Brana ima injekcionu zavesu koja je ovde ucrtana. To je dvoredna injekciona zavesa sa 2 reda koja su razmaknuta 3,4 metra i najdublje bušotine idu negde oko 150-160 metara ispod linije fundiranja. Sad je ovo retka prilika da se vidi puno jezero. Ovde je sada znači da deo voda je trebalo puštati da ide za hidroelektranu Čapljina, onda je odlučeno da se ovde naknadno ugradi jedan agregat i onda je probijena brana. To je bio onda ovako komplikovani prilično poduhvat, nije bio jednostavan i onda je tu ugrađena, tako da je sada njena funkcija dvostruka, jedna da usmerava vode prema Dubrovnika, a druga da ih usmerava tamo prema prema Čapljini. Još za dva agregata. To je uglavnom, eto, ovo je mali agregat, koliko 8 nešto, to je, ali bolje nego da... Evo ja sad čujem šta bit će i na onome odjednom.
Kontejnerski se neki planira, pa je već u nekoj idejnoj fazi razrade.
Kind of water mill, Dolaps local names, and all Trebinje river bed is covered now. It's impermeable by the shotcrete. The total length of the river bed in the Popovo Polje is about 70 kilometers.
We are over the Trebinje river. But the total capacity of all ponors, mainly the ponors are in the downstream part of the Popovo Polje, liter per second. And you see there is a difference between inflow and sinking, because all swallow holes cannot to accept water. We have flood. Popovo Polje is just now started really Popovo Polje. There are some plateau, huge karst plateau, and a few kilometers downstream starting Popovo Polje just sends this victims in Polje with a cover which is can be used for agriculture. But in spite of all that situation, during the first 2-3 years of operation, we have some damages in some places due to very strong uplift. Sometimes 100 square meters, sometimes 200 square meters are completely uplifted. We construct 16 cross sections along the Popovo Polje. One device to measure quantity of water flow in this place, and 7 boreholes. Male Ombla. Ombla is a big spring near the Dubrovnik, and according his idea, it is Ombla, but all investigations which are done later and tracer test and doesn't confirm this his supposition and idea. The outflow from Popolo Polje is through the underground channel. There are started investigation, but
All with the helmets, please.
Molim vas, uzmite kacige. Prvih 100-njak metara je nizak strop. Puno drugačije. Zato što zbog vjetra voda isparava. Ljet je vjetrica specifična zbog te prirodne klimatizacije. Čak smo imali puno štete u vjetrenici. Znači, stari ljudi kažu da zovu se kaskade ili kamenice. One nastaju slijevanje, preljevanje vode i vode čiste nije i naravno konsistencije. Kao ovo vodi se za odvrtima, a inače ovo je jako istorije. Ulaza, gdje se nalazi jedan kameni stol sa 8 kamenih stolica. Niko ne... Evo opet je nešto kontrolati, ovdje je više taj staze, smo na 550 metara udaljenosti od ulaza, sada se nastavlja...
This is one of the largest springs, maybe third largest spring with maximum. There are two in China which are around 600,000, but this one in maximum is measured is 380 cubic per second. In minimum is around 2 cubic meter per second. Catchment area is very wide and including Nevesinsko polje and including catchment area of Zalonka river. It means some part of water is possible to flow from the area of Gatsko till the Buna spring. The deepest point of siphon is around 70 meter. Nevesinsko polje is at elevation of 900 meters. Means mostly the water from 900 meters flow till here, it's called 36 meters. And this aquifer, I showed you yesterday, fluctuation of aquifer is 312 meters. Bregava river, this is typical karst river, very specific when during the dry period exists only middle part of river. Now there is lot of water. We have some upper part because the spring zone is very long, few kilometers, and during when it's saturate underground, all that springs are active. But in dry period, only permanent spring, which are at elevation about 110 meters, are active, and the river exists up to town Stolac. Downstream from Stolac, complete water disappears. This is the zone of reverse fault, which this upper perimeter of Polje is exactly along that fault. At the end are two perpendicular small galleries, and this place was power plant deep in underground on somewhere outside. And after first, when we finished that, after first heavy rain, there was around few cubic meter water flow down and destroy completely this road, and it was a lot of problem that few days, because the traffic was blocked. Dabarsko polje, Patničko polje. We are somewhere here. This is Obod. In other part is largest, this is follow hole zone, largest one is Ponikva, is Pasmica with capacity around 30 to 40 cubic meter per second, all area, but the main ponor is 20 cubic meter per second. Is it possible, when we fill a reservoir, that some water flow in this direction, and in that case will be impossible to fill up complete reservoir? There was a lot of investigation along this border of Polje. There is many estavela, many caves. We are now close to the entrance of the tunnel, which is very interesting for people who analyze, for instance, thermal stratification, because here is quite different, of course. This hypolimnium, this upper part, is very thin, which is very warm, and immediately temperature goes down, and after that it's up to 10 degrees.
Where this dam was, where this plug of the orifice of the spring was on of the specific attempt, this part of the water as a non-renewable, which is not correct, because simply if you continue to use this water from dynamic part and continue to use the static water, of course this water will be replenished by some new inflow and will be renewable, not non-renewable. We'll get additional water reserves just simply as a result of the losses. Different in karst, you could have a situation that simply any static reserves and vice versa, in case of deeper storage, and maybe even the permeable accumulated water or stored water below water table, for instance, in the part of the so-called static.
Really, my background is in civil engineering, but in this moment I'm not civil engineer. I don't know what, because really, main problem, main trouble, especially in my country, is that people distinguish groundwater and surface water in karst. It is not possible to distinguish. And example from the turbidity. Turbidity measured at the Ombla spring, and polyethylene cars exist practically everywhere in all this region. It's completely fresh water, crypto depression in 406 square kilometers that is completely composed of carbonate rocks. This makes it possible to use the lake water for the water supply in the islands of Cres and Lošinj. Here is Cres, here is Lošinj. Very special shape of this.
As Zoran was saying, I'm a research geologist at the National Research Council of Italy, and in particular in IRPI, Istituto di Ricerca per la Protezione Idrogeologica. So we mostly deal with temp as an Italian espresso and keep you awake. And most of our work is within the framework of projects with funded by the Italian Department for Civil Protection. Interrupt me, raise your hands, any comment are welcome. So we can interact as you like during this hour and something. And so I would love to hear your voices rather than just talking myself. And in particular, I will try to highlight why karst is a fragile environment and the vulnerability of karst aquifers before moving to hazards.
But I will try to give you a little bit different perspective of groundwater, because when we think of groundwater, we think as engineers, as geologists, and there's a problem, we try to solve the problem. Dealing with the groundwater for quite some time, I realized, and I'm not certainly the only one, that it's very difficult to make a case for groundwater. Then you can raise alarm and say, guys, we have to do something about that. But groundwater you can't. And when you are able to make it, to show the evidence, then it's very often late. It's crucial because it provides the strength of the soil matrix and balance with the saline water, preventing intrusion.
Model like mudflow to solve some problems or some real world problems. You actually did that, so good. So some of you will be able to follow a little closer what I'm talking about. But my intention is not to make this. Feel free to send me an email or ask for any advice you may need, and I'll make sure I answer your emails. But 10, 20 years from now, if you start working in practice, believe me, you will see a lot of people, and they're creating, because they like mathematics or they learn how to use these every now and then. And again, learn your hydrogeology and geology and petrology, because start using models, because that's it. I mean, that's the future. That's what we do all the time. So if you don't learn how to do that now, you will be forced to do that at some point in the future. And I'm saying, think about this as one world now. You know, you all have your iPhones and all of that, or phones, is that right? Ovo je 4K, jel tako?
Ama nisam očistila. Mislim, pušti te priče.
Pusti sjeti.
We are dealing with water in the natural cycle, and we have a great cost, otherwise I would not stay here. The last years, 10 years, I am dealing especially with drinking water quality, expand our team over the borders of the classical hydrogeological parts, and so you see we have people from the technical university here for this approach, how we can protect this water quality for more than 1.3 million inhabitants.
koji postanu dugački u periodu recesije pri da kažem, tom dužem periodu pražnjenja kada se stepen ispucavač ili dođe. Znači, da li će da bude nagib, ovo što je profesor pita, brz?
Kako imamo kretanje kroz podzem, da, podzemni gubici.
A koji nam je vidljivi matematike za ovo što smo pitali, ovaj catchment size 100 kvadratnih kilometara?
Ove godine smo imali 16 polaznika iz 5 država, uglavnom sa teritorije bivše Jugoslavije. Ukupan broj dosadašnjih učesnika je već dostigao broj od 60. I kao područje najbolje i najviše razvijenog krasa.
Da smo domaćini ovako renomirane periodu u kontekstu gradnje novih objekata, upravljanja vodama na području.
Kako vam se ovdje dopalo, šta ste naučili, šta ovo znači za vas?
Pa ovdje stvarno mi se grad sviđa kao prvo i ova ekskurzija koju smo imali. Stvarno je bilo lijepo, ljudi su, baš su super ljudi, simpatični. Bilo je to super iskustvo za moju struku.
Da nam se predstavite vi.
Rada Blaško-Govšek iz Slovenije, iz Ljubljane. Sam došao ovdje na ovu konferenciju o workshop, tako da stvarno se mi je sviđalo kao dan, tako da sve je bilo dobro i grad i ljudi.
It is common to start with the ladies and gentlemen, but here I only found that I have colleagues, professors, who are now for the third year. So please, Željko, it's your just proof.
Interesting days here in Trebinje. Will be more interesting in the future to see what's here painted for all the professors.
Every year they were being lectured by 10 professors. Survey and your response to this survey, you found that you will have benefit in your future professional work. Let's say ex cathedra will to share this. You found 80% that Trebinje city is a good place with topics like ecosystem maintenance. Springer from North Arizona University. Thank you. Thank you very much.
To znači da ću biti živ još 10 godina.
Thank you very much. Of the certificate for you to good results you obtain from today exams during this exam, and one is the certificate of the attendance, which are in fact issued by the University of Belgrade. Milan Zelović. Next is Danica Stevanović. Next. Ninoslav Spasojević. Daniel Jakobović. Now there is no more books, but there are some other gifts which left for the 3 best graded students in our course. And first I will call Marina Poledica. Now Blažko Govšek. And the heaviest gift goes to Dražen Tumara. Bravo.
Može.
So this is the moment that
in front of my side, but I hope that most of us agree with me and say cheers, Zoran, and hope see you next year.
Thank you, Vesna. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Cheers, everybody. Let's go drink.
Cheers.
It's time now.
Vidim se da nisam malo grešila.
Vi vodite po njim mere isto.
A ne želiš da ja vidim tebi koja je u duhovni, tebi koja ja